All right, and for today's video, here are a few things that we will need for a few of the projects. I wanted to point out I did not get this Craft Smart at Dollar Tree, but these paintbrushes I did. So we are gonna use those for multiple projects. Love the pumpkins and yarn, so exciting. I just did a video about this. And of course I didn't get spray paint from the Dollar Tree either, but I love hammered textured paint. So when I bought these, I bought 3 of the pumpkins, the orange pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I just spray painted them with this hammered texture because I just think it gives a nice pop. See, check it out. Anyways, so as you know, I'm just gonna spray paint them. I was kind of in a hurry, so I didn't let them dry correctly, which I recommend you do. I also found a little bit of some floral stems, like some individuals like this, and these are so cute, and I'm loving the green. I love that they have some of the florals that aren't like bright orange, because bright orange is not boho. Then there's also these long dowels, these and short dowels. We're gonna need those for these project, and I will show you why. The nice thing is, even though you're only gonna maybe use 1 or 2, dowels come in handy for so many projects. So definitely snag those. They're very hit or miss, it seems to be. Here's some of the leftover yarn from a different project. I did a video that's posted in my comments showing the haul of all the yarn I got. Lots and lots of yarn for $1 each. So for this, after everything's dry, we're going to take that yarn and just start wrapping it around the pumpkins. And this I had to kind of play with because I didn't really want them to all look exactly the same. At first I did the same and it looked a little weird because some of the pumpkins are a little bit, not exactly the same. Actually, I didn't really notice that till I started doing it, but you have to either line them up or they get a little lopsided with each other. So anyways, had to wrap up these pumpkins. And I think I left one blank because I just thought it would make the yarn ones pop out just a little bit more. So as you can see, I did one way more filled, one less filled, and one blank. And like I said, I think it just makes it pop more. When you leave something black or white, it just makes the other pieces add detail. Then after I wrapped the pieces I needed, you can poke a hole in one, grab those dowels, and grab a little funnel. I'm sure you have one around the house. If not, Dollar Tree has them for super cheap. And then you want to get these little pebbles. If you don't have pebbles, maybe rocks or sand or anything. But because these pumpkins are foam, they are extremely light, and they actually don't stay up very well on their own, especially when you're stacking them like we're going to. So I used the pebbles, and actually didn't use all of them. I only used maybe half a bag. Save the pebbles for something else. I'll show you really cool what you can do with it. But add it to your bottom pumpkin. It adds weight so that way it doesn't tip over. And then after you poke your hole, get your pebbles in. You can glue stick it, glue stick it just like I did, where you fill in the hole so that obviously they don't come pouring out while you're trying to get this together, and just in case it, doesn't seal back up all the way. You don't want to make a mess, especially with those littles around, right? Moms, feel me on that? Anyways, so yeah, just get gluing the rest of your pumpkins together. And what I noticed was with the foam and with painting them is if you use too much, it actually starts to melt the paint. So don't go too crazy. You don't need that much. And then with one of those dowels that I showed you before, just take one, poke it all the way through, and we're going to use that to keep them all together. I would recommend doing this as fast as you can right after gluing it, because if you glue and then you try to poke this through, you might not be able to get it through, and it may just cause kind of a mess. It might rip your glue off. Then what we can do is we're going to I'm going to add another dowel in there. I added 2 because one ended up kind of crooked. And then here in just a minute, we're going to go ahead and start adding our decor pieces. Remember those stems? I just want to add that there are so many more stems. I probably should have grabbed more to showcase what is going on. So anyways, with these dowels, as you can see, I actually added one and then I trimmed it so you can't see it in there, and then I added a second. And of course you can see my orange because I didn't let the spray paint sit long enough. So that's why I said I recommend doing that. With the second dowel, I'm going to leave it poking up. I didn't cut it the second dowel, because I actually wanted to glue the piece to it so that it always sticks up. Everyone who has ever used glue, the hot glue guns, know that they don't always stay. So it is a really good idea to use something to glue it up to, so that you don't just have pieces, and when you go to store it, things don't get crushed and broken. Helps keep things in place. So anyways, took that one stem floral piece. Can you believe that was only $1? That was only $1 at the Dollar Tree. So cute. Looks like something you'd find at like Michael's for like $5. Love it. All right. So now, of course, you just play around, add all your little pieces, all your final details, and here's just you can kind of see what I did, what I was talking about earlier, where it kind of makes that pop. That yarn, that top piece looks very boho. And if you don't like black, you can absolutely just paint them white. You can spray paint them whatever color, obviously, but just know that I tried to hand paint them first, and I can tell you that paint actually does not stick to them very well. So I recommend spray paint. It didn't really stick to the foam very well. So that's why I recommend spray paint. And like I said, if you want more of maybe a farmhouse look, I would maybe do a white pumpkins instead of black. But black is very boho, so that's why I went with that. Also, I had black hammered textured paint in my garage, so that makes it way easier. Anyways, I also found these stems that I was just showing you that I'm cutting up. I also found that piece from Dollar Tree. I'm not always in love with their floral. I think sometimes cheap floral looks cheap and is noticeable. However, the key to kind of cheap floral, in my opinion, is to break them into pieces. So if you cut them and spread them out, or piece them with, maybe other stuff like high quality, like Dollar Tree stuff, or Hobby Lobby stuff, then it works great. Looks great. So there we go. That's the final touch. And now we're going on to project number 2. Okay, so I use that Craft Smart paint that I showed you in the beginning of the video from Michael's or Hobby Lobby or Walmart, and I just I dry brushed it. I don't know if you guys understand or if anyone knows what that concept is. Basically, dry brushing is a way to distress paint onto a project where you get it wet, you dip your paint, dry it off, and then you brush it, and it's not super even, kind of gives a textured or old aged look. And then while that's drying, I grabbed this from Dollar Tree, this cute vase. I know the vases are there all year round. That's not really a fall thing, but from the pebbles that we used earlier, this bag, we only used half in that pumpkin project. I used the other half for this. Of course, pour that in first, because if you pour it in after you put all your pieces, it just gets so messy. So I found some more stems. Like these cotton stems were so cute. In my other video, I was talking about how I actually have these same exact ones from Hobby Lobby, and I swear that they were like $7 a stem. So really good steal. They are the same quality. In my opinion, they look exactly the same. I should put one in a video for comparison. Anyways, look how cute these are. Now you just go to town and start decorating and filling all the pieces. The nice thing is, some of the other projects that I was showing earlier in this video as well as later, you can kind of cross use some of these. So I took a couple stems off of this earlier and then used the rest to put in this vase. So you can get multiple crafts out of, some of the stems by taking them into pieces and using them all over. So anyways, grab a bunch of stuff from the Dollar Tree or Michael's or Hobby Lobby and start filling it. And honestly, I think floral just makes fall feel very fall, doesn't it? And there you go. That is a final piece on that. Pretty easy peasy, fun to play with. This other one, same concept. Instead of floral though, because I don't like to overkill with floral in the fall. That's more of a spring vibe. So for the fall, I love anything that looks dried or, aged or colored, because isn't that what fall is? So, anyways, I really like these because these little grass stems are so cute. I highly recommend you actually grab a bunch of these for different boho projects because you can make so many things with these. I'm gonna do a lot of projects with them. I snagged a lot. I can't wait to show you what I've been working on with these leaves. And then of course there's the little floral pieces. They just naturally come in there in that package, but you can take it out, of course, if you just want the grass like I did. I wasn't super in love with those. I actually didn't like them in this piece, I guess. What I did use is I did take some of those pink stems I just took out and put it in the other floral decor, just as some random little color pops of color. So back to that piece that I was just talking about with the vase. As you can see, I added a couple of those pink colors to it. Then I grabbed these. They're chalkboard looking tags, but they're not chalkboard. They're just paper, so they are a little flimsy. Of course, they're $1, so they're not like solid chalkboard signs. However, you can't really tell, and even afterwards, like when you put them up and you start touching them, it takes a second. But yeah, they're just paper, still super cute. But I like them as like little, mini door tags, like how people do door tags. And I like using them, as well as that was one of the paint pens that I got from the Dollar Tree too, which actually they work and last forever. I've had the same pen for like 6 months and used it in a lot of projects. So I usually, when it comes to anything like chalkboard or rustic, I like giving a small little bit of like distress look. I know white is not very fall looking, but it gives a little dimension when you go to glue these two door tags together. It gives just a little bit of like a shadow or a dimension to them so that it doesn't just look so blended. Just kind of looks a little bit more noticeable. Okay, so now that we have distressed them with the paint marker, I'm going to hot glue them together as door tags, and then you can kind of see what I was talking about. Of course, you can just leave them blank. You don't have to add anything if you don't want it looking any busy, but I do just like how it just gave a little dimension there. See how I was talking about how it gives a little like kind of a mini shadow, and then you can use them kind of just, yeah, a mini door tag. And these would actually be really cute even on wreath because there's quite a few in the package. So if you got something like this and you were making, say, like a fall wreath or like save it for a Christmas wreath or something, you could always use them as little mini door tags. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to do that. So we're gonna just put it onto this vase and if you have a Cricut, go for it. But for the sake of quickness, I'm just going to handwrite because, hey, sometimes handwriting's kind of fun too. But you can put whatever, welcome all, welcome fall, fall y'all, happy fall, whatever your heart desires. I just did happy fall. Love the simplicity of it. And I'm not from the South, I'm from the North, and we don't say y'all. So happy fall, y'all, or fall, y'all just sometimes doesn't make sense. But again, write whatever you want, tie it onto a stem, and there you go. You have mini door tags on a vase, and it just really adds special touch. And you can use them, flip them, reverse them, and use them as Merry Christmas tags on a Christmas vase or something. You can definitely use these so many ways. I love that you can use that. I like maximizing every detail. Look how cute that turned out. All right, for project number 3, what we're going to use are the wooden pumpkins, and then grab one of these. They have like cactuses or different animals. You're going to want to use them. The ones that have the plaques at the bottom of it, like a base, because we're going to use it to glue behind. And then, of course, yarn, floral, all the little details. Oh, I love this floral piece. So cute. So you're going to grab whatever you need. Then you're going to go ahead and start just hot gluing the yarn to the wood. To the wood pumpkin. Don't worry about using anything else. Just get this part started. That first yarn piece, I highly recommend starting high. You can actually start on, of course, the stem, but just be aware that when you get to the bottom, there's a special technique you're going to want to make sure you pay attention to so that you can't see that animal that I was just showing you, or if you use a cactus or whatever, there's like a cross or cactus or just so many cute little things in there. And we're going to use whatever you have at your dollar store. They're in the regular craft section, not the holiday craft section. So once you grab one of those, and this will work perfect. And again, you're not going to even notice it, so it doesn't really matter which one. So anyways, once you get going, it gets easy, and all of a sudden it becomes really quick to get wrapping that first and end piece are always such a pain. And once you get wrapping, actually it goes pretty fast. So you can either give it some spaces if you don't want it to be like a solid piece, but if you want to have more of a boho vibe, I recommend trying to keep it a nice tight fit between yarn pieces, and it gives just kind of that like super boho-y vibe. Also, at the top, when you first get started, the first few strands, you're going to need to glue it so that you get a solid foundation, because you're basically going to, with one hand, hold your pumpkin, the other hand, just start wrapping the yarn like twine around. You're going to wrap it like twine kind of around something really fast. And that part goes quick. So the first few pieces, you want to go nice and easy and slow and get perfect, straight lines, and like take your time to glue each corner as you get going, especially because you're also kind of on that weird like top slope where it starts to curve, and it's gonna maybe slip off. It's gonna just all slip off if you don't have like a nice solid base. Once you get doing that, and like I said, it's so fast once you wrap that yarn. Then grab your animal or cactus or cross or whatever piece you grabbed, and we're gonna hot glue, lots and lots of hot glue, as you can see. Went a little nuts with it. And we're going to tuck it under and glue it behind the pumpkin. Now, you don't want to use the yarn, wrap it all the way down before you do this part, because you want to tuck it in like I did. You want to be able to have some of it where you can tuck it, and then you're going to finish wrapping over the top of that animal piece that is on there. And like I said, see, you're not even going to see it. You're not even going to notice it, because we're going to wrap it all the way around it. So once you're about halfway, 2/3, glue your animal, your wood piece with the plaque to the back, and once that is solid, just keep wrapping. And if you need a minute to use some E6000 so that this doesn't stay apart, absolutely do that. But I think with wood to wood pieces, it should work. And then there we go. There's our final piece. Once we have the yarn wrapped all the way around, I kind of liked the nice flush look. And then of course, after I got done the bottom, I went back up the top so that I could fill in any little gaps so that it looked extremely flush of just yarn, like so you couldn't see the wood. And then once I made my way back up to the top, I realized if once your yarn is thick enough, if you glue a piece to the wood and then tuck your final yarn streak piece to it, and like not wrap it in it, but like kind of just tuck it in there to where you can pull other yarn over it, it really blends it. That way it doesn't look like a project piece. It looks like store-bought, right? And it kind of gives it more of like a high quality. And then also that way, if you have it like say on a tabletop, it's double-sided and you don't have a backside that's all messy and gonky, because you can't even tell. When I got done, you couldn't really honestly tell what side had a piece in the back. Then you're going to take your floral, if you want to add floral, that is, and add it to the piece. For this, remember, boho is simple, so keep it very, very simple. And maybe one piece or a stem. And same thing, I recommend gluing it to the wood, not the yarn, because hot glue sticks better to hard surfaces than to like fabrics. So if you glue it to the wood and then you keep part of the stem so that you can tuck it in the yarn, then you can't see it and it just kind of comes out, popping out naturally. And this is probably one of my favorite projects I have ever done, you guys. Like, this is one of my favorite fall projects. I'm so excited how this turned out. I know everyone always says that, but maybe I'm being biased. And I left the bottom piece wood because I just think it looks extra cute. Love it. All right, thanks for watching my video, you guys. Here's kind of a wrap up of all my pieces, and as you can see, the little pumpkins that I didn't really do anything with, those are at Dollar Tree. And if you don't want to have the letters facing you, just turn them around. And then of course I found this white candlestick holder that is already painted, so no need to paint them anymore, as well as an orange candle to put on top. Cute touch. And here is all my pieces of collected and made, put together in one video. Hope you guys like it as much as I did. I thought this was super fun. Please like and subscribe.